A recent headline in The Guardian read, "A hard sell, the industries that can't get millennials buying." The author was describing the growing modern phenomenon of young adults between the ages of 18 to 35 who no longer purchase products like life insurance, nor necessarily save up for a mortgage. Obviously, it is not because millennials now somehow believe that they aren't going to die, nor that they don't need a place to call home. Simply put, the world now offers alternative solutions which satisfy a need in the moment and therefore can exempt someone from a long-term investment. Almost all of the work I do now in the promotion of vocations to the priesthood is done among university students. And when we plan to meet up, though I have stopped asking this question, I used to inquire, do you have a car or do you take transit? In my mind, those are the only two options for getting to an appointment in the city. But the frequent answer is, "Oh, neither, Father, I'll just grab a car to go." Although by age, I am technically considered a millennial, by experience and disposition, I usually feel quite outside of that. You see, I had saved up for and purchased shortly after my 16th birthday my first car and insured it myself right away. Hence why I often feel like a dinosaur of a millennial. The Guardian article quoted Airbnb founder Brian Chesky as saying, "Access is becoming the new ownership. Our bling isn't our car or our house. It is the theater of Instagram and the experiences we are having in the world." Indeed, we live among a new generation for whom many things are a harder sell. Yet when you get right down to it, the fundamental desires or needs never change. We simply find new outlets for satisfying them. People still want to get around the city, but they just share a car to go instead. People still want to be noticed and recognized for their achievements. They just post pictures of them instead of purchasing an icon which demonstrates their wealth. People still want to believe in God and that He has a plan for their life. They just hope it can come true through wanting it instead of through religion. It's no wonder then why the most frequent comment made to me as vocation director from older than millennial Catholics is, "Father, I don't envy your job. It must be a hard sell." And they're right. It is. Or at least it could be if we didn't adjust our marketing approach. As I have tried to point out with the examples of Airbnb, Car2Go, Instagram, and the like, these are not utterly new realities. In fact, they simply provide the same desires and needs through a different outlet. People do still need a roof over their heads. People do still want a personal way to get around. People do still long to be noticed and affirmed by their peers. Therefore, people also do still need, want, and long for a personal encounter with Christ. except there is no share outlet or social media platform that will ever replace or renovate the sacraments of our church. These remain the irreplaceable and irreplicable channels of grace through which our Lord continues to reach into the world. And those sacraments, the Eucharist being foremost among them, continue to come to us through the hands of Christ's priests. For all of the scandalous revelations of abuse at the hands of clergy, for perhaps the graver revelations of cover-ups and inaction from the hierarchy, for the gravest revelation of a culture of just don't break the civil law found among a morally corrupt segment of the clergy, the truth remains. We still need priests. And priests still bring us Jesus. And Jesus is the only reality we all ever actually seek and desire. In fact, young people are looking for him more intently today than I believe ever before. I work closely now with an organization called Catholic Christian Outreach, which is a movement of university campus missionaries doing apostolate with students on 16 campuses across our country. This year, including on our 2 campuses in Calgary, at U of C and MRU, the missionaries have received double the response from students than in previous years seeking to join one of their faith studies. In the RCIA group I am working with for university students and young adults, we currently have 15 individuals attending, and each week for the last month, 1 or 2 new members have joined. I meet on a regular basis with approximately 20 young men who are seriously exploring the possibility that the Lord is calling them to his holy priesthood. And exactly 4 weeks ago, right here in this church, our young adult event, One Rock 2.0, saw 620 millennials register to attend. It is true. These are hard times to be a priest or to want to be a priest. These are challenging times to be a Catholic and still hold our heads up high. These are nearly impossible times to still profess to be religious of any affiliation and not be looked upon with some degree of disdain. And yet, nothing has changed. And these things are still deeply, fundamentally sought after and desired. The reality is, we live in a time where the world has rendered the vast majority of us blind. Like the man in today's gospel. But instead of wallowing in despair in a ditch, people are still crying out, Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me. Let me see again. This is the longing of every young person I am privileged to encounter. To see again, and to see clearly, in order that they each may see Christ. And despite everything, it is no accident nor coincidence that they still look to one of his priests to help make that happen. There are young men in this parish whom our Lord is calling to undertake this mission. This is a frightening and difficult moment in the life of the church to be a priest. But my sons, I assure you, perhaps it has never been more exciting and more beautiful. So I leave you all with one request. Pray for your priests. Pray for more priests. And to each of you young men whose hearts may be burning at this moment, contemplating the possibility of this call, remember these words of today's second reading. Every high priest chosen from among men is put in charge of things pertaining to God on their behalf. And one does not presume to take this honor, but takes it only when called by God.